Mike's hot.
Welcome to Envision Radio from the United Way of Greater Charlottesville and City of Promise and News Radio 98.9 and 1070 AM WINA. And brought to you by the Jefferson School Foundation with Markiana and Price, coming to you right here in the studio in downtown Charlottesville. And as you know, off air, we talk about everything. Dave Matthews Band, yes, you're so casual, we love it. Famous Price's dad was almost a drummer.
He's not a drummer.
He was almost a drummer, y'all. Anyway. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Kori Price, a multidisciplinary artist and photographer, current president and founding member of the Charlottesville Black Arts Collective, and most excitingly for me, our next interview on this episode of Envision Radio. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Full old intro.
I know I'm getting better.
That was good. Yeah,
it used to be bad, so now I've been trying to work it out.
Oh, okay. No, it wasn't bad. It was good.
Thank you.
It's always been good. That's great. Kori, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Welcome to, well, you already sort of got a feel for what's going on. This goes
Yeah,
any and every which way, so.
We really are just, we just ask people about the culture, and they just tell us their opinions on it.
I'm good with that.
It has really taken a different shape from when it started, from whence it came.
You know, I think it's the dynamics in the room.
Okay.
It's in the room where it happens.
Very good.
And so it's always going to be something that's changing up based on who's here.
Okay.
Hey, place is important.
Yes, this place is important.
Place is very important.
And
And
you got work about that? You got work about place?
see, I was teasing something to come later that we did not plan.
Fell for it, hook, line, and
So-
sinker.
Hook, line, and
Place
sinker.
is important.
All right.
I believe it.
Because why?
Well, okay. We're jumping in.
I mean,
You
look,
teased it.
we've never not been in. Everything's
Okay.
been everything.
Okay, we're jumping in. So, to me, place is important because there is nothing better than understanding the place where history happens and where history gets repeated, how history is repeated, and also having that connection to something physical. I think so much of our lives is like it's on screen.
It's digital.
It's in a server somewhere. That isn't a place, but it's not. It's virtual, right?
Right.
And I think more and more place is important because we need to feel and we need to be present. So
I
that's why.
just read something, maybe it was one of those meme posters, but it was talking about how we actually don't own things anymore. Like when you're playing a video game, you're actually not buying the video game, you're buying the right to use that video game, and at any moment the company can say, those things don't work anymore. I think something happened with one of the NFL games, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're not letting you play that game anymore." And they're like, "We bought it." They're like, "Oh no, you didn't buy it per se. We rented out the opportunity to play it." It's like physical media, physical space is so important because our digital space is not owned by us in a way that is tangible, and those things can disappear tomorrow. That's why I say, buy physical media, archivists, do your work.
Absolutely. I mean, back on that game thing. It reminds me of when like art NFTs, non-fungible tokens.
God. Is that
were
over?
What a
thing.
crazy
I mean,
summer
it's
that
not.
was.
It's not in the.
I
It's
seen
not
some
in the
monkey at
scroll
AVs.
or whatever. But that I don't know. Just from like an idea perspective or point of view, like that drove me insane because how am I gonna like digitize art and then just sell you that, but you don't own it,
Girl,
but it's not
I
physical.
was pushing save photo on all them people. I was like, you can't own something. I have it. It's in my camera roll. What is it? What is what does ownership mean? Because
Yeah.
you don't own it.
No, you don't.
That was the worst
Is that
summer.
still happening?
I seen some monkey
Probably.
abbeys because they was really into monkeys. Remember?
It was that Bored Ape.
Yeah, Bored Ape.
thing.
There it is.
Bored
Yeah.
Ape.
I still see some Bored Ape abbeys. When I see a Bored Ape abbey, I know who you are.
Right.
I don't think I know about this.
Yes, everybody. It was a really common NFT.
Yeah.
People were buying these photos that had encrypted data, and that means it's mine, and it can be tracked if you save it and all this stuff. They were spending thousands of dollars, and they were making them their abbeys, and people were just saving them, and it's like, because it's fake. And so
Bored Ape
it's the
Yacht
board. A lot of
Club.
people do the Bored Ape. It's a picture. It's recognizable as a cartoon ape.
Is this like an ape that's bored or an ape that's made out of like a
The
board?
branding is
It's like
Bored Ape.
A board,
Oh,
B-R-E-D.
yeah.
Like
Thank
a
you.
board. So it's called the Bored Ape Yacht Club.
And a lot of people have
apparently,
them.
Bored Ape NFTs have plummeted in value, dropping to
Yes.
multi-year lows this month. The value
Thank
of the
God.
once booming collection of JPEGs of lethargic simians, which sold for millions of dollars a couple of
Millions
years
of
ago,
dollars.
have cratered.
This is called a fad, folks. This is Remember fads back in the day, like gel pens? Man,
No,
I wanted
hold up, I like a gel pen.
so bad.
Don't blame me.
I want a gel pen so bad.
Well, you know what? You can feed that inner child. You could go get some
I think I
gel
might get
pens
some gel pens.
today at the store.
Well, so here's the thing about fads. So does that mean this is just going to come back in vogue? Because that's what
hope
that's what
not.
all of our childhood fads did. That's
Some
what
of them
jelly
die
shoes
forever.
did. That's what gel
What-
pens did. That's what.
Okay, but there are no snap bracelets. That was another. I wanted a
There
snap.
are.
I love a
There
snap
are.
bracelet.
What?
I think those
There
things are
are.
coming back.
There are.
The kids are also doing them.
Yeah.
They're braiding. They're braiding stuff.
Remember
the little
remember the
friendship
little
bracelets?
plastic
Yes.
braid things?
Yeah,
What were
were those like
yeah, what
were they like
those?
were they like they're like rubber band they were like rubber bands
Kind of.
and they were like braiding them.
Yeah. What was that?
Or
Oh,
was
you
it-
make a keychain.
yeah.
It's like
Yes.
What was
that
that?
like plastic rope
Yes.
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
And it like made like a little square.
Yes. What was
I
that?
never knew how to do that, but I loved it.
That's what we're
Somebody
the
would make it
90s
mad.
of the kids of the 90s.
Are those coming? You're saying those are back?
No, I'm just wondering what they are.
Yeah, like do all fads come back? Some people, I think some of them need to be.
Nostalgic
I mean, now I'm
90s
thinking-
crafting.
Yeah, probably. Now I'm thinking about like what hasn't come back. What
'Cause-
about those chokers? You remember those black chokers?
Oh, the ones with they crisscross.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I never had one of those, and I never wanted one, but now I'm nostalgic.
You can get you one. You
I
can
don't
get
know if I
you
can
one.
rock it in a cool way.
Yeah. But you could still get you one.
There are also things that were like super popular when I was in high school that I never partaked in, but now as an adult, I'm like, I think that'd have been super fun. Like I never wore camouflage. I'm from Orange County. They used to love camouflage. They used to rock camouflage. Everybody. And I was like, that's sweet. It's a symbol. It means things. That's not me.
They
but now I'm like,
also-
oh no, it's kind of cute now. I'm in. It's in.
They also rock that in Culpeper.
Okay.
I just never got into it.
No, I'm not. Wasn't because it meant something then.
Yeah. It made you
meant-
went hunting.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
maybe.
Well,
I don't know.
Maybe for like some people.
Some people were hunting.
Like out in the morning in a
I
deer
don't know.
stand.
Everybody was hunting
With
at
your
school
paw.
at 8 a.m. I don't know if everybody was just coming from hunting, going hunting after school, but it meant something.
It did. That's true.
It meant
That's
something.
true.
And so I was like, but now it's kind of trendy. People are
Yeah.
doing like streetwear with camouflage. I'm like,
Oh.
like, the pop girls are like camouflage shorts, bitty shorts.
girls.
Didn't not Beyonce,
It's in.
Destiny's Child have like an album cover? with
Yeah,
a
do.
girl?
it's in. I'm
Or
trying to
is
wear
that
it.
like soldier
Yes,
single
love
or something?
it. Love it.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
a soldier.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Because you're going to
yeah,
stand
yeah.
up for me. Do
That
you got to
one.
pay royalties when
That
you do
one.
that? Or is it like 5 words and then?
I don't think we do. I don't know that
Yeah, 5
Beyonce
words
is.
is
I don't think
great.
we're
5
quite
words.
on.
is
Yeah.
I read that somewhere. You can't sing more than 5 words, and I
Oh.
only sung 3.
I don't think we're quite
There
on
you go.
Beyonce's radar. I don't
Yeah.
know
Okay,
that,
cease and desist.
that the
Come
A&R
through.
is coming for
Please
us.
don't.
But yeah. Okay.
So we ain't talked about you at all.
That's okay.
That's the whole point of it. That's the whole point of
Just
this
chat
thing.
the whole time about
No,
things
no,
that
no.
are not me.
So, for those who don't know you yet, but will know you now, tell us a little bit about where you grew up, what childhood Kori was like, and what you want to be.
Yeah. So grew up in Culpeper, Virginia.
Nova, as they say.
Is not Northern Virginia. It is
Nova.
Central
Nobody
Virginia.
puts Culpeper in Nova.
I didn't. I
Why?
know. Her and James, famous, said that Culpeper is Nova.
No.
I said no, it's
No
not.
way.
I'm a stand for you, Culpeper people. You're not there. It's not you.
Okay, I'm also going to stand for Culpeper. But, okay, Culpeper's an interesting place to live.
Is it a mixed community?
What do you mean by mixed
Like
community?
economically?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there people who are Nova and
Especially-
people who aren't Nova?
Especially because there's so many people who are using Culpeper as like a home base to commute to
Right.
Northern Virginia and to commute to DC that it's grown a lot exponentially. It was not like that coming up as a kid. I used to play soccer where there's a Target now. There used to be like fields and like random semis parked where Target is and like everything around Target. So it's really grown a whole lot. Very much rural. What else you had asked? What was
What was childhood like
Childhood
in rural Culpeper? Not that was not Nova
Yeah.
Culpeper.
Yeah. So I grew up across the street from some cows. So like,
Love it. We had a lot of
let's
cows
just
in
get
Orange.
real
They actually had,
Culpeper
like,
to the point
residents?
where like I moved back in with my parents after college and like after living away for a little bit, and I was on my way to work, and there was a cow.
Was it the
Street
same
guy
cow?
happened to us,
Was it
too.
cow
Just
neighbor?
standing there
Yeah.
and like staring at me. I'm like,
Yeah.
People lose
hi,
their cows.
Yeah, he was
could
like,
you please move?
I live here
need
too.
to go.
Yeah.
Or hold on, I missed a pun. Could you please move?
There it is. There we go.
Anyways, childhood Kori was really creative. My parents' basement was my first art studio.
Ooh.
And I used to like paint and make pinch pots out of clay that I dug up in the backyard. I played video games. I used to watch like really bad TV, like The Worst Witch, like as a kid, like The Worst Witch, which now I've like gone back, never heard of it. See, never heard of it. Gone back, start watching it, and I'm like, wow, this is entertaining.
Now
but
it's
like,
camp.
Yeah, it is. It is. So
You weren't
camp.
watching it because it was camp.
It was
then,
so
but
camp, but it was so fun. And like Degrassi, I used to watch Degrassi. Anyways,
that's big. Degrassi's big.
Degrassi was big.
Yes.
Really,
very big.
And that's not niche.
And this is Drake before he's Drake.
I know.
Jimmy.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
Anyways, so yeah, the basement was like my first art studio. I'm an only child, so you got to make your own fun.
Wow.
You know, which I think I successfully did. I used to make all kinds of things and read a ton of books.
Mm-hmm.
I sound really boring, but I promise.
making art in
I'm
your parents' basement and pulling clay from the earth to make pots.
Pulling clay from the earth.
You think that sounds boring?
I mean, some people might think that's boring.
Because I ain't know nobody who ever pull it straight from the dirt and process it and clean it up.
We're putting too much into this. I've
been playing with mud.
I just dug it up a little bit.
Right.
And like we have red clay is a thing.
Yeah,
it is clay. So like you can make little pinch pots and let them dry in the sun, paint them, give them to your friends. You know.
Were you giving them to friends?
No, just
somebody
my dad.
Somebody out there has a Kori original.
Yeah.
Pinch pot.
Actually, I might have given it to a friend.
And they still have it, probably.
I don't know. My dad still has his.
Oh,
really?
So, you know, that makes me feel pretty good.
Yeah.
It stayed on his desk until he retired.
No kidding.
Yeah. I was
were they
kind of
painted
impressed.
or were they just clay colored?
That one was orange and something.
So you were
orange
painting.
and red. Actually, you know what's funny? That one's like orange and red, probably like orange and maroon. And I went to Virginia Tech. So
now here we go. This is what she really wanted us to stay away from. This is why she didn't want to talk about herself, because she is from the place that we don't say.
Careful. Whoa.
VT?
Yes.
What made you want to go there?
Virginia Polytechnic Institute. And State University.
When they say that Polytechnic Institute, I do give a, you go, girl. You go.
I mean,
what made you want to go there?
Engineering.
Okay.
Engineering. So I didn't always want to be an engineer. I think as like a really young kid, I was like, I love music. Music was my first art love. I love music. I'm going to be in music. And then I also love tornadoes and like severe weather all over the place. Again, only child, alone in the basement.
You want to be chasing
fun.
tornadoes?
Yes.
You watched Twister?
You saw Twister. She saw Twister once. And what's that guy who playing it? That cowboy. She said, I got to get down there.
Are you talking about the new
new Twister?
No.
Oh.
What cowboy?
The old Twister.
There wasn't a guy. I'm saying.
Bill Paxton?
Yeah.
Let me see. Turn your computer around. Let me see what he looked like.
All right.
We're talking like there's a cow.
And like Carrie,
another
was it
cow
Carrie Elway's in the movie? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yes,
guy?
that was girl.
Bill Paxton.
Oh, okay.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, Carrie Elway's. Yeah.
Dusty. Anyways,
you wanted to be with them.
Girl, I know every word in that movie.
Really?
Quote something for us.
Every word. I can't because there's so much cussing in it.
I just remember when the cow blows across the screen. That's my favorite
We got
part.
Julia. We got cows. I think that was the same cow. Another cow.
So a musician singing in the middle of a tornado.
That wasn't the dream. That wasn't the dream. But, you know, it's fun. It's fun. Anyways, so I was like, okay, maybe I'll like go into like severe weather or something. I'll chase tornadoes. I really like meteorology. I read every book on tornadoes in the library at school. I like loved watching Storm Chasers on Discovery Channel. So good. Poor Reed Timmer. He is still chasing. He is still chasing.
Still chasing.
And I saw Josh Worman. Sorry, if somebody out there is a Storm Chasers nerd, you know these names.
You've hit the right place.
You have found the right person. Please come find me. Let's talk about it, because you know nobody's out here watching these like weird tornado chasing shows.
Yeah.
But anyways, so thought I was gonna do like meteorology, and then I don't know. I think sometimes kids have this somebody in their life is concerned about them wanting to be an artist. And then you have that conversation of this is what an artist makes versus this is what a something else makes. And so, started having those conversations with, and it's real concern because it is tough. It is very tough to make a living, a thriving living as an artist. It's doable, but it takes a lot of work.
Yeah, right.
And so, hindsight, I get the concern and I understand the concern, and I'd have the concern as well.
Would you have the concern even though you're an artist? Like if you had a child, would you still show that concern to that child even though you're, making it and doing that as a living? Would you still be like how your parents were? Oh, well, maybe there's some other options. This is what an artist makes and this is what a doctor makes. I
think I would want to have a really clear conversation.
Okay.
And just talk about reality. Because
just because I'm doing it don't mean you don't do what I say, not what I do.
Well, sometimes. But, I think I just want to have a clear conversation about, like, we live in a capitalist society. And because we live in a capitalist society, that just means certain things are valued over I shouldn't say valued. Certain things have a higher cost or price associated with them, a different value in terms of money than other things do. And so it's something that you're going to have to combat as you try to focus on your art. I have one of my friends, we were getting into it, just talking about like how difficult it can be to be an artist. And he practically said that being an artist is in complete opposition to everything that our society values economically, because it takes a long time. It takes years of practice. It takes everything that you got in order to make this object, this art, whatever your work is. And then you have to go through the emotion of, am I going to give it up? Am I selling it? What am I selling it for? So then you kind of leave this like creative place, this creative space. And now you have to enter this business world and you have to think about it economically. And the practice of creating art is an act of resistance. So,
what do you mean when you say that?
I think so. I'm kind of thinking of it in terms of I'm an engineer. Engineers value efficiency. We're trained to be very efficient. Right. We're trained to problem solve and to problem solve as fast as possible. And as an artist, that can't be the mindset that I have, because if I were creating something just because I need to sell it at a low cost, my work would not be what it is today. It would be, I'd try to figure out what people enjoyed. I'd make a business out of it. I'd try to figure out what was trending, and then I'd go make something that I could sell at a high price amount with a low cost and make the profit off of that. And that's just not what art is. Art is not a business. I mean, I think because we're in a capitalist society, we have to sometimes make it a business.
Everything's a business.
Everything's a business.
I think I've heard a quote about art as revolution.
Oh, absolutely.
Nina Simone has one.
I don't know who has said it.
I'm trying to look it up.
But it is an act of resistance. It's saying, I'm going to do something despite what the cultural norms are. I'm going to do something because I see this as important and I need other people to wake up. Or I'm going to do this because people need to rest. People need entertainment. People need joy. People need happiness. And I can be an avenue for that. So I think that's what I mean by art's an act of resistance.
Yeah, I was going to say, Nina Simone said something about it. It's an artist's duty to depict the times which they are in. And then I think Toni Morrison says that she was an article or maybe a written word about it from her that was like, something happened. Say somebody got elected. She didn't like what was going on. And she was like, I can't write anymore. I can't do any more writing. And her friend was like, it is in these our darkest moments when artists must get to work.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You must write. You must paint. You must sing, because it is our darkest moment, and it is art that fascism and all these other things are so scared of, because those things push people to action.
Absolutely. It can be a wake-up call. It can be a wake-up call. I think we need it to be a wake-up call and a reminder And we need so many different types of art in order to do this, to help push us forward, to remind us that we're humans and that we're not machines, and that our value is not in how much work we can do in a day. That's not where our value is. We need art to help remind us of these things, and we need art to kind of a little shock to the system, to remind us that what we see as normal or what we have made normal is not normal.
So you leave you go to VT electrical engineering.
That's right.
What do you do after that?
Started working for GE, and I was in one of their leadership programs called the Edison Engineering Development Program, and it's like a rotational program, so you do 4 different roles in 2 years. So I moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was different.
Different good, different
good,
neutral,
but you know,
Neutral.
it was a city.
derogatory.
Different neutral. It was a city. It was in the north, and I don't know. It's your first job out of college. You worked your butt off, right? And you want to do something good. And at the time, I very much was like, all right, I'm gonna like finish this program. I'm gonna like rise as quickly as possible. I'm gonna be a lead engineer, then a senior engineer, then maybe I'll be an engineering manager. Maybe one day I'll be CTO. Like that's where my brain was at like 21. It's like I'm gonna like follow this career path. Like this is what I'm doing.
Dreams,
And
goals.
yeah. Somebody else's dreams and goals though.
Whose were they?
I'm kind of thinking through this because I'm not quite sure. I don't know if it's because I felt like that's what was expected of me.
Okay.
And that's what you're supposed to do. They also I remember as an intern working for GE and then in this leadership program, they would kind of give you like optional career paths that you could follow. You'd hear from all these like senior leaders about like what they did career wise. And retrospectively, I can see that's all purposeful. They want to keep you in the company. They want to train you up so that you can be this asset to a company. And, you kind of know that as a young person, but you don't see how much you've been getting that message throughout your life. And so I think this comes back to that whole like, okay, you could be a musician or an artist and make this much, or you could go into IT or engineering or whatever else and make this much. And like, which would you prefer? I think it goes back to that conversation. And education, like what are your teachers telling you? How is that forming how you feel about what you're going to do with your life and what impact you'll have with your life? What doors are you closing versus what doors are you opening for yourself? And like, how does that feel in your body? How does that feel spiritually, right? So I think that was a message I was kind of receiving in multiple waveforms. We can go there. We're on the air. Anyways, I was receiving it in multiple ways, and I think I just said like those are my goals and dreams. And then as I like realized like, oh, actually, I think I'd like to write a novel. I'd like to publish a novel. Oh, actually, I really like this photography thing. Maybe I want to take more photos. What is that? Having a career as an artist was not a path. That was a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
That was a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think that kind of like was ingrained in me until like things just weren't working for me. I wasn't interested in what I was doing career-wise. There were definitely some cool stuff that I got to do. I got to go to steel mills and see commissioning. I worked on software. So I like got to see what I programmed, actually like hear that it went into the field and was tested and was fine. I got to see 2 different NASA sites and some of the like coolest stuff I've ever seen just because we were a contractor for these particular jobs. So like I got to do some really, really neat stuff. And I still love engineering, and I'm still looking for like, what is that next job that could be interesting for me, engineering or product management wise. I later on went into product management, but that I had to realize, and it took a long time for me to realize, like when I go to sleep and I think about what I want to accomplish in this life, is it engineering wise? And the answer is no. It's all creative. It's all art. That's what I want to be known for. That's what I want to leave behind. And that's what I want to put into this world that hopefully will wake folks up, that hopefully will help them feel connected to a place, that elicits something emotionally in people. So I guess that's what I mean by that wasn't the dream.
Want to do
what? You talking about the promo? If you are just jumping in, this is Envision Radio from the United Way of Greater Charlottesville and City of Promise News Radio 98.9, 1070 AM WINA. Price and Markey here with Kori Price. And big thanks to our sponsor, our friends, Jefferson School Foundation, the proud owner of the Jefferson School City Center, where education, innovation, and community engagement come together to build a brighter future. Dedicated to preserving and sustaining the historic Jefferson School, they also condescend to hosting an event.
Woo! You'll see us.
So this is our first public hosting gig.
Yeah,
Is that right?
it is.
Yeah. What is that? Oh, the NBA Gala.
Yeah.
That's right. What are we supposed to be doing again? That's right. So that'll be funny and that's hilarious.
You'll get to see our faces while we talk.
That's right. Oh, that's right. I forget about that though.
Sometimes we're in here acting and no one can see us. We're standing up doing cartwheels right now, but this is the airway.
I just did a backflip.
True. But also I forget that you can't react to stuff.
I do.
That's what I'm saying. You do, but you can't react to stuff in person because you do that on Zoom calls when you react to stuff and you forget you're on mute,
Yes,
so you
I
think
do.
people can't see your face.
I do.
Like once you tab away, you forget people can still see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I'm over here like.
Yeah, right. Grimacing and shaking my head, and they're like, "We can still see you." I'm like, "All right, cool." That's tough. So, how do you? Let me ask you a little bit about art, sort of artistically. I've asked this to a couple other artists too. It's a broad diaspora of things, right? How do you choose your medium or sort of the ones that interest you the most, right? And we've had other photographers. We'd have Eze on here. We've had Derek on here.
Yeah.
And a couple other artists from
music artists.
We've
too.
had musicians on here, sure, and then that's instrumental, and that's singers, and that's So I mean, how you've mentioned you've had this broad array of interests as a kid. You mentioned as the only child, right? You had. I would argue probably more of an opportunity than most to explore those, at least to some relative degree. Like I look at my kids now, and my son's just like, whatever she's doing, I'm in. And so he certainly has his things, but he also is just so guided by what his sister's doing. You had a little more freedom to be like, oh, I'm going to do a tornado thing, I'm going to do a music thing. How did you start to narrow the focus, right? Like when did it start to say, okay, if I can't be the sort of Potter and the meteorologist at the same time, here's what I am going to do. Here's where I'm going to put more of my energy.
So I don't think I have because I have that
You don't think you have yet?
I have that multidisciplinary artist thing.
Okay.
There are definitely mediums that I'm attracted to.
Yeah.
And that I'm interested in. But I keep expanding. So
Okay.
I'm thinking about my next art exhibition and I'm like, oh, this
Sneak peek.
idea I have. I don't know how much. I'm not ready to talk about
Don't
it
talk
yet,
about it.
But
They'll get the vibe from what you do.
what I'm about to say, right? So I'm looking at metal working and ceramics, and I'm really interested. I think it's called raku or roku or something. Don't quote me on this, but it's this technique where when either in the firing or after firing process. See, don't know anything about ceramics, but I'm gonna figure it out. There's this glaze stuff.
Okay.
That you put on the
I'm on ceramic
that you've
TikTok.
made.
I've seen some ceramics.
And you put it in wood chips or newspaper and it catches fire and
I think I have
makes
seen
this really beautiful metallic maroony olivey sheen to stuff. And specifically in my head, this thing that I'm thinking about, I need that style. Anyways, so the answer to your question is I whatever the idea is and whatever is in my realm of I could figure it out, I'm gonna do. For example, my first solo art exhibition, originally I pitched the idea of photography and it was all gonna be photographs. But as I was really thinking about what I wanted to say and what I needed to say, I needed more. I needed more to be a part of it. And so I ended up learning how to weave. So a friend was like, here's the contact information to my weaving instructor. She teaches classes, take a couple classes. So I did. And what was great, I was like, here's what I'm trying to do. Is this possible? And basically I asked her, I would like to use faux black hair as weaving fibers. And she's like, sure, you can use it as the weft. Probably not the warp. The warp is the vertical lines.
Right.
In in something that's woven, and then the weft is the horizontal lines on the loom. And so she's like, sure, you can use it for the weft, but probably not the warp. And like, we like approached the lessons from like learning different techniques that I could probably utilize to like make the hair weavings. So I did. I made like a whole carton of hair. Not all hair. There's like other things in there too, but
because you had to do the waft.
Are you talking about the wop? The wop?
You're
wop,
just saying
wop.
words you just heard.
Yes.
The weft.
My auditory skills are there.
The weft.
The weft.
Weft.
Because it had to be more materials because you gotta fix the weft.
That's right. And you needed, yes. And you can't, like, structurally, you need something that can, like, hold under tension for the warp, which is, like, the vertical ones. But anyways, so I picked up weaving, and I was like, all right, I'm going to weave. Great. I'm going to make a whole curtain of hair. So I did. And now I'm thinking about metal and ceramics and whatever else. I might have to sew. I am so bad at sewing.
I mean, it seems like whatever skill you want to learn, you can learn, though.
I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
For sure. Because I don't know. My strongest ideas, I see them first in my head, and I feel them, and I know them. Like, it's a whole sensory thing. And then the task is, how do you translate what's in your head to a medium? And how do you share that with other people? Or how do you just make it come from this, like, three-dimensional place that I've already built in my head to reality? And sometimes I feel like the translation process is where the magic happens. It's frustrating because I have a certain feeling and I have a certain thing in my head, but as I'm in the process of like figuring out what this thing's going to look like, or how I'm photographing something, or how I'm weaving something, how I'm whatevering, how I'm writing something, something else comes in. And I don't know if that's flow state. I don't know if that's like whatever I've experienced in like the last couple of days. I don't know what it is, but something else comes in and it becomes this thing that's not quite what's in my head. It's something new. And I think that's part of an art practice.
It feels like a great place for the show notes, right?
We need show notes.
I
talked to somebody this week about it.
Did you talk to your interns about
My
show
interns
notes?
are in D.C. Shout out to them.
What?
They have every set of interns goes on a conference or student weekly thing in Capitol Hill to learn how nonprofits in Capitol Hill and policy work. So they go up there for a week and
they don't.
Right.
We could do that here.
They're there at a student conference.
We gotta try.
Like,
They're going up there to learn stuff. They're
hooray,
kids.
we cut Title I funding for kids with special needs. Okay, bye.
But yeah, so I was like, I was in a meeting. I was like, oh, there's so much we could do with the radio. We can push limits. We can push bounds.
We can push boundaries.
Yeah,
the next frontier.
Right. And I was like, but I would love to start with transcribing for accessibility and show notes.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things was that transcribing, that's what they told me, that transcribing takes a lot of time.
Not with artificial
Yeah, I
intelligence.
know. Yes, we talked about artificial intelligence. But they were like, yeah, but then it's going to spit out stuff and you have to look over it. But I was like, looking over it's better than typing hours of Yeah, you look at it for 2 minutes and say, it actually said eggs here, but he said exactly.
That's right.
That's what you would fix.
That's
But
right.
And so we talked about having, these interns only got 2 more weeks after they come back, so they're not doing that. They focusing on the work I need them to do. But in the future, that we'd give that intern their first day, they'd be starting working on transcribing.
I mean, genuinely, and at the lowest possible level, you could take this audio file, throw it into ChatGPT. I'm sure it would get pretty close. I bet you it would get pretty close. Like,
it's killing Mississippi. I don't know where
it would get pretty close, right? Like, it's like voice to text. Have you ever voice to text on your phone? It does a pretty good job.
Have you seen the voice to text on my phone?
I am sure
if you
it'd be
speak
fine.
clearly, it actually does.
Are we speaking
shockingly
clearly?
Well. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. All these things, and I'm not against putting it into that thing. I'm just saying there are limits. They would still have to take a look at it.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
I
don't care how it gets done. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, obviously I can't do it. It's too many and there's too many words.
It's too many
Because if they
words.
just told me, if somebody told me today, we're going to have to start transcribing this, if you're going to have to transcribe, the way I would come in here and start saying less.
Yeah, you say a lot.
I would say, oh, great. So I could transcribe that later. I'd be talking knowing that I got to transcribe.
I think you're the leader in the clubhouse. You're the more verbose of the two of us.
It depends on what the topics are.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't know. You be over there really chit-chatting about early ed. No. You be reading books and writing articles. Don't do that.
I do that. I'm doing that here.
Wait, you writing a book?
No, he writes articles and stuff.
No,
guess highlights.
I have an op-ed in the Daily Progress.
Oh, casual.
He's very casual.
You know,
Casual.
That's what happens when you're a big dog and you're famous.
That's right. By the way, speaking of show notes, it looks like raku is what you're talking about.
Thank you.
A unique and exciting firing process for pottery known for its distinctive aesthetic and spontaneous results. Involves removing pieces from the kiln while they're still glowing hot and placing them in a container with combustible materials like newspaper and sawdust, causing a post-firing reduction, which creates a carbon-rich environment that produces striking colors, metallic sheens, and crackled glazes.
That's what I'm talking about.
They think I shows on Netflix about
dangerous.
that.
Let me tell you part of the idea. Part of the idea is armor. So recreating armor in like a black aesthetic, borrowing from Islamic, Japanese, European, West African armor tradition, armor art almost. And anyways, this is all stuff in my head. We don't know if this is going to translate the way I think it is, but I want to make like tiles that can like go together with that firing process.
Huh. All right.
So like a big metallic sheeny.
Yeah.
They got have you ever seen the show The Great Pottery Throwdown?
Of course I have.
What? I've never heard of that.
I've seen it. Yeah, I was like, I think I've seen it.
I think I've watched two, and I can't remember what the other one is, but there's a host on there that like, I think it's this one that gets so emotional that he'll just stop talking and start to cry at like whatever creation like one of the potters has made.
Yeah.
Or ceramicist has made. He'll just like start crying.
Art is that powerful.
Yes. At first I was like, what happened? Is it bad? Oh no, it's bad. And he started tearing up. I'm like, oh wow, this is kind of beautiful.
Yeah,
I love all those art shows. I watch the glass making one, the steel making one.
What?
Forged in Fire.
Forged in Fire is my favorite.
Ooh.
I'm watching
Hold on, there's all of these.
People love these mediums of art. I watched the glass one, super cool. I love that one.
Glass one is wild.
Super cool. They have a competition show.
That's cool.
Pottery show I've seen.
Okay.
Steel, like they're making like weapons, they're making chainmail, they're making
what?
And then they test them. They'll get like ballistic gel or like something else.
And they got lots of
like,
seasons, so people love it.
Yeah.
What?
The audience is there. It's niche, but they making money. They gotta be.
I know you like your Great British Bacon.
I love my Great British Bake-Off.
Is it a cake episode?
I love Is It a Cake?
It's great.
I love that.
But there's a whole world of creative TV.
I'm already watching creative TV.
Of baking.
Interesting.
So
I do like Is It Cake.
Yeah. It's so funny. At first, I thought it was really corny.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, but it's like still kind of remarkable.
I like going up there and you eating that cue. I just saw the episode the other day when he ate the cue ball. It was like a set. Where is it this? Oh, and they were like, pick which one, hurry up. And he was like, is it this? And it's like a cue ball. And he was like, let's see. And sometimes he's joking. Yeah. But he like put the whole cue ball in my his cake. And I was like, you know what? You got me.
That's crazy.
That's
crazy.
Any like quiz show, any guessing show where I'm like, no, I know.
Okay.
I know it's that one. It's that one. No. She's going home tonight.
She's going home.
I know that.
You pick it, you go home. Yeah, I like this. I love the creative TV shows, especially in their competitions.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know there were that many. I didn't know there was a whole like medium specific art thing going on.
Glass, pottery.
That's right.
There's a flowers.
There's a flower one.
On HBO, they used to have like the flower fight or something like that. And they had to build, so it's from gardeners and people who build like structural concepts out of floral material. And they're building these 10-foot tall statues with teams and stuff. And that one's super cool too.
There's Legos too.
Yep, there's a Lego one.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's a Lego one.
Definitely seen that one.
Cake is the baking ones are really
that kind of counts. Cool. So if you are just joining us, we'll do this again. We got two in here just to make sure we cover our bases. This is what are we doing? Envision Radio from the United Wave Greater Charlottesville and City of Promise News 98.9, 1070 AM WINA. Price, Markey here with Kori Price. Let's talk a little bit about the photography. Would you consider that like your leader in the clubhouse?
Yeah.
As far as your artistic pursuits?
Oh, I like thinking about it as a clubhouse.
There you go.
Okay, sorry.
That's new. That was but he just came up with that today.
Yeah, that's all yours.
Yeah, I'm using that. I like that.
So talk about how did that come about, right? I mean, that feels. I remember talking to Derek about this, and just like it feels like at what point did that feel to you? You mentioned the difference between sort of hobby and a thing, and the way that it works, at least now, is that as you get older, you have to pay for stuff. And whatever type of lifestyle you want to cultivate has to, at least to a degree, match your ability to do the things you want to do. And we can talk about sort of the morality or structure of that, but in the end of the day, you know, whatever you want to do, you got to be able to do it. So at what point was photography for you, did it make that transition from a thing you did for fun and a hobby to, you know, now a thing that is, you know, sustaining, I would argue, to a large part of your lifestyle?
I think it kind of started expanding, and I kept challenging myself to do more and to try more. And at first it was replicating like landscape photos I'd see on Pinterest back when Pinterest was a new thing.
Sure.
And you could see all these like brilliant golden hour photos of all these wonderful landscapes, and they were gorgeous. And so I was trying to like, all right, can I, almost like one-upping myself, like, can I do this better? Can I do that better? And so it just kind of became this challenge. And then I, you know, some of it just happened because people ask you, like, hey, we're getting engaged, would you take our engagement photos? Or my recital's coming up, would you take photos so I can like make posters? Or we have a formal dance. And then it built up to my roommate at the time, her older sister was getting married, and she asked if I would do the wedding.
That's big.
And that's a totally different, that's a different ball game, right? Luckily, I had a good friend in college who's a year older than me, and I graduated and like moved to California, and she was really into photography, more so than I was, and had started like taking on like contracts and photo gigs and all of that. And so I called her and was like, I don't know what I should do. And she like walked me through the whole thing. So I think it kind of started growing organically out of a hobby into a space where like, oh, now I've gotten experience. I've gotten paid for this work. Now I can do this as a job. And so for a long time, photography was a side hustle, it was a side job. And it was one of those things where I just enjoyed it, and I enjoyed working with people. And I was constantly just seeing like, can I do better than the next time? Not that what I was producing was bad, but just for me personally, how can I be my best? It's a practice, right? Before I even had the language of like art as a practice, it's a practice. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to see what else I can do with the medium. So I think, you know, I started like an LLC once I was like, okay, this is actually business. Let me see if I can actually do this as a job. And I was a little curious. This is like 2016, 2017 timeframe. I was kind of curious on like, do I want this to be the main thing? That was the question. And like I'd made a plan of like, okay, I think I'll quit my corporate job at some point after I've like built enough business to like see if this is something I'd like to do full time. And I'd had that question for a long time. And you know, when you're comfortable, you kind of push things off, and you kick the can down the road, you sweep the things under the rug, you do all of those cliche sayings, right? I do. You keep doing it until, well, God said, how about now? Okay. And I was laid off from my job. They were doing rounds of layoffs, and I got hit in a wave. And, you know, I kind of anticipated it would be sometime that year, but I didn't think it would be that early in that year. So at that point, this is last year, at that point it was like, okay, how about now? What are we doing? And so honestly, that's the thing that really made me do this trial run of what I like to be a photographer full time. And you know, I could have said, you know what? I think I'm just going to like apply for jobs, and I'm going to go back to corporate because that's what I know. That's what makes, you know, decent money, and I can still do the photography thing on the side. But I'd always had that question of, do you want to do this full time? And so I decided, you know what? I'm in a good position. Let's try it. Let's see how I like it. And I have learned a lot in the last year and a half. So, you know, a lot of it happened organically, but I'm glad I listened to myself last year. And I didn't hop right back on the bandwagon, and I tried something a little scary and made so many cliches.
Yeah.
But I love a cliche.
Lemonade.
I love a good metaphor. I love a good
lemonade.
One.
And like, actually, you know what? I made limoncello because those lemons, they weren't just bad. They were fermented. All right. So I made some limoncello.
I think my favorite one that I say and people never react at all is charge it to my head and not my heart.
Oh, okay.
That's a really Southern one.
That is
like
a Southern
that.
one.
That's one of my favorite.
Okay.
But I forget somebody's name, if I get somebody anything.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
okay.
or like you don't remember something about someone that they told you 3 times. You're like, it's not about the fact that I cared about you any less.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It's my mind's bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's my mind's bad.
Yeah, I really like that one.
That's a good one.
I like
that
that
is
one
a good
too.
one. I do like that one.
Cliches are nice.
It's so fun.
Just, as a writer, I'm like,
Right.
you know.
Yeah,
Marky,
I love words.
Yeah.
Words are great. People don't want to read cliche, so I'm always like, what can I be doing differently?
Yeah.
So I don't put this cliche in.
You just got to make them up. I saw this
That's
girl.
where the limoncello just
There's
came
this one
from.
person I saw on the internet, or she's from Love Island. Her name, I forgot her name. I think it's Amaya. She does a lot of metaphors. She was like, if I'm not the book you like, then don't read me. It was like, she's making. I don't want to say the one she did say that I really liked because I was a cuss word in it, but it was like, I took a laxative. I was going through some, like, I said, oh my God, Maya Angelou,
but isn't that the opposite?
Reincarnate.
Hold on. But isn't that the opposite? Is it
the
stuff going through
it's like
her
rap.
in
It's like,
that?
It's like those two things connect, even
Right.
though it's the opposite way.
Yeah.
I was like, those two things, maybe laxatives, because laxatives cause.
Right, but it's backwards. The laxative, the stuff would go through her,
That's
not
right.
her through the
That's what I'm
stuff.
saying. But
Right.
you get it. It's like rap. It's like, you get it, right? It's like rap. It's like
It's not quite a rhyme. It's
It's
what
not
do they
a
call
rhyme.
it? A slant rhyme or something,
it's
right?
like you're not thinking about what the item does per se. Actually, you just know that laxative cause, bowel movements, and you said that you was going through bowel movements. That's all it has to. It doesn't have to make sense scientifically. She's not a Maya the scientist. She's Maya the metaphorist.
So you're not concerned with the physiology.
When you heard it, you was like, "Oh, that's a hard bar."
No, I was concerned with the
thought about it.
physiology.
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay, well, I
It's
won't think about it.
backwards.
I'm sorry.
Some bars don't gotta be scientifically correct. It can just be like, "Wow, that was good."
Okay.
Okay.
Not all these bars are scientifically correct.
Okay. All right. My bad.
They be like rain on them, evaporation. Like it
Right.
that don't make sense, but I feel like it could
I
be
guess
some
if
right.
you were really hot.
That's what I'm
People
saying.
steaming.
It don't gotta make sense. And so when I read that when she said that, I was like, "Oh, girl, you're a lyricist.
You're a
Get in the booth."
lyricist.
Get in the. Okay.
Yeah, so she does lots of these. Where she's been doing it the whole show, and I was like, I was like, oh my God, I love the way you're talking. You're speaking in metaphor. You're speaking in. I don't know. I love it.
Okay, poet.
Somebody took a laxative because I'm going through. Okay, like
Let me ask you a question.
I wanted to snap.
About I think the art mediums that you're working in, do they feel different to you from a standpoint of photography? It seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of the photography you're doing now is photography like on behalf of other folks. It's wedding photography, it's events, it's stuff like that, right? So you're capturing moments of other people. Mm-hmm. Your art exhibits are sort of different insofar as they are very like you, right? That's sort of like you on display in a different way, right? Like I don't know that I ever look at a wedding photo and go like, that's not a good picture because the photographer wasn't good, right? I'm like, your eyes are closed, or that, right?
Right.
So
Right,
it's
right,
less of a indictment on you, and not that they're not great, but I just like, it's different than looking at something you made, even though you made both. Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
do you feel that, or did I make that up? Because it seems like an art exhibit with your name on it is like, wow, you put work into this thing. People are coming to look at your stuff, your interpretation, your point of view. You take a picture of my wife and I in a field, and it's kind of like, that's us. Right,
Yeah.
and that's you just capturing us
That's
instead of
I've
putting
never thought about it
yourself
like that.
into the actual art. I don't know, is that a real thing?
I think. Ooh, this is a great
That's
question.
an interesting perspective
very-
about photography and art.
Yeah.
So I think, like, if I'm working for other people, like, my mindset's different. I'm
Yeah.
still, like, my mindset is sort of like, all right, number one, I, like, get my safety shots. Or I call them safety shots. I don't know if that's what people call them.
What are
But I get
safety
my-
shots?
Like, the ones that you gotta have. Like, I've captured, like, a wedding. They're kissing. I've captured the kiss.
Right.
I have the kiss. Now, my second thing is, like, can I do this from a different angle? Can I make this more creative? But I'm always, like, I'm in that mindset of, like, I've been hired to do a good job. I need to do a good job. I need to get the things. I need my safety shots. And then after I get my safety shots, I can, like, get more creative, look for different angles, capture something else.
Right.
So I'm kind of in that like, headspace when I'm working for other people. And there's, like, some avenue, like a conference. Like, they just need photos that they're putting in on social media and their newsletter. So it's really kind of tactical from that point of view. So I think it's a headspace thing. It's like, what headspace am I in when I'm picking up the camera? And if it's I'm creating something because I've like seen something in my head, I've put something together in my head and now I want to make it real, or like randomly there's like really great fog and I'm like somewhere in the woods and like this would be a great ancestor apparition shot, and like I'll go full tilt, I'll go for it. And I feel like if I'm really into something art photography wise, if we kind of delineate them in that way, then like flow state will happen. And I don't get flow state when I'm like
on the
working
job.
a gig,
right?
A photo gig. I don't think that's ever happened. And that's a good thing because again, I'm working a job. There's things that I need to catch. There's things that I need to deliver, and I want to do a good job. But when I'm thinking about my art, I'm like physically changing positions in the chair in the studio. Nobody can see that, but I'm like moving from one to the other.
Right.
Which I tend to, there's artist Kori and then there's business Kori. And I tend to kind of make those separations for myself mentally, and I don't know why I do it, but I think it just helps me keep things organized. So I think that's pretty perceptive in like asking the question of, is it different? What's the difference? Because there is a difference, and I think it all has to do with my headspace and opportunities for flow state versus when it's like I need to deliver something.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. I'm always interested in sort of the photographer's perspective on the actual photography, right? Because so much of it is the setup, like you said, and so much of it is externality of, things that you can't control, the wind, things you can control, where I place you vis-a-vis the sun or this tree or whatever. But then some of it is the actual, if there's subjects involved, it's the stuff, right? Mm-hmm. That kid's upside down. He's facing the wrong way. Your eyes are closed. You're right. So some of it is like out of your control to a degree, right? Or you have to sort of manufacture a moment or a thing. Whereas you have total control over your pottery. You can make it, you can not, you can break it, you can light it on fire, you can, right? So it feels, I've always been interested by how we evaluate different pieces of art based on, even though they're both of your hand, I think they are bound by different metrics, which I've always found particularly interesting.
But that's not uncommon, because if you think about before we had AI, before we had Photoshop, we had illustrators, we had artists who were making illustrations for patents, for textbooks, for medical documents and journals. And so that's a totally different headspace than maybe if they were doing something for an art exhibition for their own enjoyment or for whatever they wanted to do creatively. So I think, that it's kind of a gray area there. But I will say too, kind of talking about working for clients and working for families and folks like that, it's not, at least my approach to that, I don't want it to look manufactured. If your kid's upside down, we take the photo of your kid upside down and everybody like goofing off. I think a lot of that work, it's not about me, especially with like weddings and families and couples and that sort of thing. It's about the people in front of the camera. Right. And it's about how can I connect with them and connect with their energy and like help them feel comfortable in front of the camera so that they can be their most authentic self and document. That work is documenting.
Yeah.
And that's important work to be doing. It's important for me, I feel like, to be documenting Black businesses in the community. It's important to be documenting families. It's important to be documenting weddings, because those are the photos that you're going to hand down to your grandchildren. Those are the photos that you're going to look back on 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. We can do the whole thing. Years and remember, because it's an important record of memory. And that's not lost on me. So even though I'm going out to all these different photo gigs, there might be something that a conference or an event that I shoot, and a couple of years later, maybe we don't have that person anymore. And somebody sees that photo and like, oh my gosh, I remember when such and such said this, or such and such shook my hand, or we hugged. And that's an important part of being a photographer as well, is helping folks remember and to document what our lives were like. And so I know I kind of shove that into like, that's for other people, but that's the attitude that every time I like step out of my car and I'm like walking up to the gig, could be tired. I could be feeling any number of things. But the thing I always remind myself of is this is important work. You're documenting. Somebody could see this is somebody's memory. This is going to trigger memories for people. And that's my job. That's the work that I'm in. And it's that emotional connection, I think, that ties over to my work as an artist and when I'm thinking about what I'm going to exhibit next.
So talk to Lewis about how exhibits work. Do you find a place for these exhibits to go, then get to work? Or do you plan and build a thing and then you go find someone who's willing to see that thing for what it is for the audience at hand?
I didn't go to art school, so I don't know how it's supposed to work.
How is it supposed to work?
I don't know how.
I mean,
but, I think...
You said I do both.
I would, up until recently, I would find open calls for exhibition.
Okay.
And then I would apply to those open calls or a residency or whatever that opportunity is. And you propose an idea, you propose a project, you give examples, you give samples of your work, depending on what the application requires. And then you submit it. If you get selected, hooray, you got selected. That's amazing. And now you got to do all this work.
Now you got to get to work.
And whatever that time frame is.
That feels so stressful.
And usually it's like a year, you have 8 months, something like that. And you've probably already started working on stuff. If you're not a procrastinator, you've probably already started working on stuff. It is stressful. It is very...
Because you're on your own time. It's you having to fix...
That's right.
Put stuff together.
And if you, at the time, all of my exhibitions, except for my last one at the Jefferson School, those were... I had a full-time job. And I was helping run the Black Arts Collective. I was volunteering. I was the host of Creative Mornings for a while. So, I was doing other things. And I had to, put on an art show. What? Whose idea was this? So I made a decision last year that and I don't know if it's a good decision. I don't care if it's not a good decision. It is a good decision for Kori Price.
Business.
But I decided I'm not applying to a show until all of the things are done.
Okay, so
I got to make all the work.
You're doing it different.
And then it'll sit for a year. I understand that.
That's okay.
Because I've got to go apply, and the cycles are usually a year to a year and a half.
Yeah, I would say I got to build the thing, and then if I find an exhibit that fits, that's great.
That's okay, because it's too stressful. Some artists like to work with the timeline because they like the pressure, they need the pressure, they need it to be a deadline. Otherwise, they'll keep going.
Yeah.
I would like to see if I can not be that artist, because it is way too stressful to be I'm still weaving things and it's 3 a.m. and I have
I told him I would give him the pieces tomorrow.
And I've got to install it tomorrow. Yeah. Or this thing broke and the exhibition opens tomorrow. What do I do?
Right.
I'd rather have it sitting too.
You do what?
I'd rather have it sitting.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to make the stuff and let it sit and move on.
I'd rather have it sitting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm not making a whole exhibit. And you just gave me the money and a year to work on it. Ain't no way.
Oh,
really?
I'm in trouble. I think I'm in trouble.
Hold on. You just assumed a thing. You think there's money.
No money. Oh, God.
We need to normalize exhibition stipends for artists. I'm just going to put that out there.
Say it to them.
So
and it needs to be generous.
What is the...
Sometimes there's not. Often there isn't. This is a new thing where artists are given a stipend for the work.
It used to be just
or
promo.
It's a new
free
thing.
promo.
Is that what it is? It's supposed to be the promotional thing?
What do you mean?
What is the value?
I'm giving you a space to put your art on.
Yeah.
I'm giving you the option to put your art on.
And an audience to see it and a potential for it to sell.
Stipends. Get the stipends together. Stop playing with my artists, man.
But if you do multidisciplinary work, if you like to do installations, often the work's not for sale. Or part of it's not for sale.
Okay.
And so you did it because you have a thing that you need to communicate to an audience.
Okay.
You needed a place to put it in. Or it complements whatever visual work is for sale.
Right.
But that's time, cost, materials. And again, going back to where we started, often artists are not paid.
I didn't even think about it.
A living wage.
Is it why that was not even about to be a sentence. Why is it often not for sale? Is that a personal choice? Is that just because it's sort of unwieldy? Is that an actual sort of structural thing that it would be hard for someone to take this? Or is it a thing that I want to keep it, and let's say you do keep it, then what do you do with it?
You got a storage unit?
Okay, I can only speak from my experience. Again, did not go to art school. I am not a formally trained artist with air quotes because that's some BS. But I mean, it's great if you are formally trained. still valued, but I'm just saying we shouldn't be gate kept.
Right. I know an artist. I know a really popular artist that I went to school with, went to our school and said, "Well, I make more money out of our school."
Yeah. But anyways, to answer your question, what I've noticed is often it isn't for sale, and it could be a personal choice. So like the art installation that I had in my first exhibition, which was called "You Can't Compromise My Joy," and it was about the sort of like internal monologue of a Black woman's mind and trying to continually choose joy, even though our existence is threatened. Okay. And that the example of the terror, the existence being threatened was I took the Breonna Taylor report, the police department report from Louisville, and I printed out all the pages. I hung them in the middle of the gallery, and the only way you could get to the joy, the photographs of Black women experiencing joy on the outside or like the walls of the gallery, was you had to walk through these pages. You had to confront the terror. Okay. And so, for example, like, I'm not going to sell that.
Yeah. Also, pieces. An exhibit is a all the things make sense in a context together.
That's right.
If I give you the piece of paper with the report, you didn't see the joy photo.
That's right. You can't get that like duality, right? And the other
it's an experience that you can't get if I sell off in singular pieces. And photography maybe it could do like that, but like exhibitions that you put together be hard.
Right. So that would be or it could be personal. There's a piece also for that exhibition that I created. Breonna Taylor's home was shot into 36 times, I believe, and I painted what my bedroom walls were. Painted the same color on some sheetrock. A friend had a gun, and I shot the sheetrock 36 times. And that's something that I'm not comfortable with somebody else owning. That's something that I want to keep.
Okay.
And the context around that is when I first moved into my home, sometime around November, in the middle of the night, police officers knocked on my door, and they were looking for who used to own the house. They didn't realize that I bought it 3 months ahead before they came. And they knocked on my door, and they were looking for this other person. I'm like, I'm not her.
Right.
And left. And like later on learned like maybe there could have been some like illegal things happening. I don't know. This is all neighborhood hearsay. We do not know the facts. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't help but to think if that person was engaged in something that they needed a no-knock warrant to do, because I think they were still legal in Virginia at the time. I'm not sure. I think they were. Could that have been a different interaction with the police? And so that's where the like me tying my space to Breonna Taylor's space and thinking about like confronting this terror that Black folks and folks of color have to continuously confront and then choose joy about. I don't want that in somebody else's home. That's not
makes
for
sense
sale.
to me.
So that's two reasons why.
If people wanted to interact with your art, see more about your exhibits, is there somewhere you direct them so they can see it?
My website. I will one of these days add the other one. I hadn't.
You got two websites?
No. Add an exhibition. It's not up to date because I'm busy.
Okay, well you need to go home.
You need to. Yeah, that's right.
You need to go home and you update.
You need some interns for that.
Okay, a summer intern would not be bad. But anyways,
that seems like a Kay thing. Kay could probably do that.
But anyways, on my website, I do have fine art and exhibitions. So you can see what I've done previously. I'm just a little behind on that last one I just had, but I'll do it eventually. Probably not until later on this year. But,
eventually. Certainly not
even
now.
if I get my website on the air, I'm still not going home and updating.
Not this week. No, I'm not doing all that.
I'm out here. I got a project management app, okay? And I've organized what I need to do project management app wise, and the
app says she can wait a couple months.
It's full. That poor app is like, you sure you're gonna do
the
all
job
this
is
in a
managing the app.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, maybe this is some fire under.
Well, go ahead and give them the website.
Oh, KoriPricePhotography.com. Kori is spelled Kori.
There we go.
Hopefully you don't have to spell the rest.
All right. Well, that's it. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you so much.
That was great.
Hour flew by.
See, I told you. And if you guys have ideas for the show or want to get in touch with us, make sure you check us out on social media on all platforms at United Way Seville, at City of Promise, or drop us a note at United Way. What is the email? envision@unitedwayseville.org. And you are also on social media, Kori Price Photography. Is that correct?
That's right.
And remember, that's Kori, Kori. Price is easy. Don't mess that up. You'll offend 2/3 of the people in the booth.
That's right. Do it.
Big thanks to all of those who support the show. If you like what you hear, share this with your friends. Subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And, of course, best way to support us, consider making a contribution, City of Promise United Way, or any of our great other local nonprofits. And don't forget, you'll catch us October. Should I know the date of this?
15th.
Are you sure about that? You said that really, really, really confidently. 2025.
What is it?
I don't know. It's not up yet. So sometime in October 2025, we will be live at the NBA Gala. This is a big one. It's an exciting time, exciting year. Lord knows why they asked us to host it, but we will be there in full force. Again, big thanks to our sponsor and our friends at Jefferson School Foundation, proud owner of the Jefferson School City Center. Make sure you check them out as well, jeffersonschoolfoundation.org, to learn more and stay connected. For Kori, for Marky, this is Price. For Kori Price, this is Price. And Marky. We'll see you next week.
Bye.